What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Happy holidays to all our fans and friends out there. Of course, I'm Jonah Willett, my man on the side. Clayton Guillory, man, I know you're on vacation. I see the hotel curtains behind you, bro. Listen, we apologize to kind of dib in. You already got you got it going. Mine empty already, Clay. I beat you to it, man. It's just the holidays,
dog.
man.
This is like my fourth one today. I done had 3 at the pool. This is the one that was left over from dinner. So it's all good. I got to get this little bit of vacation in because once we hit December 1st, bro, it's on and popping for us to the middle of December.
Yeah, well, it actually started a little early for me. Panther didn't pull me out the comforts of my place. I got to hit up to the A tonight. I'm going up. Rank up is this weekend, so I'm excited about seeing those matchups. We'll have the cameras out. We're trying to scout and see who's gonna bring it home, man. It's put up or shut up time right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. But Clay, everybody has been wanting to know. Hey, we haven't seen the rankings on the internet. We haven't seen them on the Instagram. Tonight we drop, of course, commissions in the back making a little dope artwork changes, but we're gonna drop them tonight. But we switch it up. It's not top 15 tonight. We'll focus on the teams that's going to the national champions. But we still need to consider those top or those teams, the 5 teams in the running, just because we never know. We're in closeout time. So, Clay, earlier this week, you had some more invites before we break into these rankings, before we talk about potential matchups in the YNC, before we talk about rank up. Let's review early in this week. If they didn't catch you live, some more teams got invited to the greatest show on earth in Miami, to the YNC. Let's recap those teams.
And they did, man. We had some teams that really put up some big weekends. We had some teams that won some championships, some teams that punched, their name on the card to get in the building. Like you said, right now it's the road to Miami. This the talk of you football right now. Nothing else is being talked about. This is where it's at. If you're not here, man, you are missing out. You're missing out on what's going to be a hell of a show. Now, and y'all have to forgive me. Normally, when I'm doing the show, I have my dry eraser board right there on the wall with all my notes and everything.
Yeah, you out of pocket.
I'm gonna try to dial in a little bit after 3.5 old fashions, So, but here's what we got, man. GBT, Gold-Blooded Titans, 8U, who won their state championship this past weekend. They received their invite. You also had the North Texas Bills, 13U, won their state championship. Coach Joe White, they won their invite. And a lot of you guys, if you don't know who the Gold-Blooded Titans are on 8U, just, pull up the archives of the Gen X YNC National Championship games. They were actually the world-famous Jaguars last year, and they finished the season as the national runner-up on 7U. North Texas Bills, like I said, 13U, Joe White, head coach of that team. They haven't confirmed yet, but they do have their invitation. I'm hoping that, by tomorrow they'll know what they want to do, even though it's Thanksgiving, In addition to that, we had 2 other invites as well, too. Big shout out to my man, Brandon Morton and Falcons United 12U. Now, like I said, this is a team, man, that was hit real early with injuries. This was a team that started the regular season kind of slow. But, I mean, we all know if you beat the right people at the right time and you fire on all cylinders when it comes November and December, a lot of things can change. And that's what they've done, man. And it's funny because B had hit me up about 2 weeks ago when his playoffs had started, or 3 weeks ago, and he told me he was going to win it. And he took a hard route. He knocked off Tucker on 12U. He knocked off, was it ABA? Was the second one?
Correct.
ABA. And then at final third, he beat in the championship was East Metro Steelers. So he definitely battled through a gauntlet of teams through his playoffs to earn that invitation. So big shout out to them, man. I'm excited to see him back on the thing. What was it? 2 years ago, he was the national runner-up versus the Louisville Chargers when they won their first national championship at 10U. And then there was a 4th one. And like I said, man, y'all gotta apologize. I'm sipping a little bit. Who did I give that 4th one to?
Don't forget the Chargers representing out of Birmingham, man.
There you go. That's why I fuck with you, Jonah. Birmingham Chargers, man. Hey, Birmingham, I apologize. I don't have the board right in front of me. Birmingham Chargers on 11U, a team that has not only played their regular season with their league, but used those off days and those Sundays to travel and play teams outside of their sandbox, man. So you got to take your hat off to them because I saw those boys down in Louisiana. I saw them boys up in North Florida. Of course, they went over to Georgia. Man, they really put some miles together and created a strength of schedule that you really can't argue with. So shout out to the
Yeah,
Birmingham Chargers. I'm really excited to have them there because I think that they are a team that a lot of people not really going to expect a lot out of, but they're gonna shock some people.
absolutely. Well, man, y'all start sharing it in the groups because we're gonna start breaking down these rankings. And once we put them out, everybody gonna be like, "Oh man, what happened? What happened?" So as we get closer, y'all go ahead and share it in the groups. Let everybody tag the coaches that y'all know should be in the top 10 around the country. Let them get on here. So Clay, we talked about some of these invites. What are some of these things now that we're getting closer? We know how the seating is done. We always said, listen, the only time we're going to see teams differently if they're from the same state or if they played each other before. But more or less, you can really go by the rankings. So we'll just pop into one of them right now. Let's just pop into Clay. Let's pop into the 14 and under right now. 14 and
All right.
under. We'll jump on the screen real quick, and we'll start from the bottom at number 10. Clay, we'll break this down, and I'll jump on this one. We'll talk about at the 10 spot right now, the current rankings, what we call the end of the season or the postseason before we start jumping into national play, is the Rockledge Raiders, out of Florida. Then, of course, out of North Carolina, the Alpha Dogs come in at number 9. And number 8, one of your favorite teams right there, Clay, Pompano Eagles out of Florida as well. And, of course,
Most
Old
definitely.
Town Duck. Yes, sir. And Pompano Eagles is a tough team, man. A lot of defense and a lot of kids flying around. And whenever you can come out of South Florida as a champ, you definitely can represent on a national level. Montana Outlaws, of course, representing on the Midwest level. Vegas Strong on the West Coast coming in at the number 5 and holding strong Mississippi Wolfpack at number 4. A team that's really surprised a lot of people. Didn't really surprise us, Clay. We saw they were really tough from the preseason. Osceola Cowboys come in at number 3. And 2 top teams in the country that we just feel are far and beyond right now, but that's why you got to play the game. OG Ducks coming at the number 2. They were the number 1 team all season until they ran into this one team coached by Coach Les. OC Buckeyes holding it down at the number 1 spot. So, Clay, evaluate this 1 through 10 right now. You may have a couple of teams that do not attend the YNC, so you can pull out a team like the Mississippi Wolfpack and maybe Montana Outlaws, and that'll give you 8 teams to kind of really deal with. Does Rockledge Raiders out of Florida have enough to take on a powerhouse OC Buckeyes? The OG Ducks would take on a team like the Pompano Eagles out of Florida. Osceola Cowboys potentially would take on like the Old Town Ducks. How do you prepare for OC Buckeyes if you never saw that type of offense? You're playing East Coast football against West Coast football. If you're right now Rockledge Raider or Alpha Dogs preparing for OG Ducks and the OC Buckeyes coming from the West Coast?
Well, the first thing that I would do, man, is I would try to get as much film as possible. Even if you're going to get some of the film from last year, also do a little research. You got to understand that coaching staff that the OC Buckeyes have, man, that is a high school coaching staff. That particular coaching staff coaches at one of the premier high schools in California. So I would do a little bit more searching. I would actually probably look at some film from the high school just to get a feel of how they run their offense if I can't find a lot of film on the OC Buckeyes. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't necessarily know this year if there's a lot of film on social media of the OC Buckeyes 14U. So I would tap into that high school team, look at the offense, look at the defense. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same schemes. And then if there's one game film or maybe 2 of the OC Buckeyes that I get, I'm going to break it down. But the conversation I'm going to have with my guys is, guys, listen, they finna spread the ball. They're finna run some read option. They finna put that thing in the air. We need to make plays. We need athletes. We've got to fly to the ball. We've got to be able to not just make the routine play. We've got to be able to go above and beyond and make the spectacular play to change the outcome of the game. Because at the end of the day, man, whoever makes the most plays is going to win the game. Now, this 14U age division, I feel like is going to be unique because this is the first time in a long time when I really can't say that there are 4 or 5 teams that can win it. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to anyone, but I think right now whether if you're talking about anybody's national championship, any shape, form, or fashion. If you have the
Yeah.
OC Buckeyes and the OG Ducks right now, that's your national championship game that everybody's anticipating. So my thought process is tell my kids we have nothing to lose. We walking into this, nobody but me and your parents believe in you. Let's knock somebody off.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, Clay, 13 and under, probably one of the most anticipated age group brackets in youth football this year. It happens at YNC. You start from 10 and climb on up all the way to the number one spot.
So this 13U division, man, it's something that's really special. And I'm actually happy when I look at the top 10 on the number of teams that we're going to have at the YNC this year. So starting off at number 10, you have the Gold-Blooded Titans out of Texas, a team that's built around speed. They're not very huge size-wise per se for 13U, but these guys fly to the ball and they play fast. Number 9, Air Academy out of Washington. And this is a team that I think is going to be a dark horse in the YNC. I think this is a team that matchup wise can create some problems for some of our top ranked teams. Number 8, Ross Elite out of Georgia. Another team that has come in with a lot of hype, and we're going to see exactly where they stand. Sitting at number 7, Stonecrest Camo Spartans, holding strong. Camo is another team, another Georgia team that a lot of people have spoken highly about. Now, that rolls us up to number 6, defending YNC national champion, the City Life Raptors. Started the season off kind of slow, but I think right now they are firing on all cylinders at the right time of the year. If anybody, and I don't want to necessarily say an upset because they are the defending national champion, but based on their ranking, they're not supposed to win. If anybody is going to defy the odds and make it happen, this is the team that can do it. Number 5, you have the Miami Garden Ravens, Coach Butter again, Purple Lambeau. I mean, what can you say? They stay consistent year after year,
Yeah.
and they're definitely a fast team flying to the ball. Number 4, Motor City Jaguars. Everybody's been hearing the hype about the quarterback, CJ. I actually wish that this was a kid that Motor City Jags was coming to the YNC because I want to see the kid up close in person. I've seen it, on social media. But again, I'm a coach, man, so I like to see the stuff up close and personal. I expect them
Right.
to do some major things, from my understanding, at the AYF National Championship where they're headed. Then you've got
Yeah.
number 3, the Duluth Wildcats. And, when I was talking to my man X the other night, he was telling me about these 2D tackles that Duluth have that are unblockable. So I'm excited to see these guys at the YNC and what they're going to be able to do. Number 2 in the nation, the Rocket Hornets Clock Boys, defending AYF national champions. These are some guys that they've been on a winning streak since last year, and they've dominated, their games. And then the number 1 team in the country right now, LA Rampage. And, might I add, LA Rampage, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, might have been the last team to beat Watkins Hornets last year, somewhere around this time last year when they went down to Bullhead. Rampage came to YNC. I think they might have been number 1 ranked team at that time, but got knocked off. Retooled everything. I think they're more focused now, and they're going to be there trying to defend that number 1 ranking and claim their first YNC national championship. So that's how we're wrapping up the 13U.
Yeah, Clay. Now everybody can't see what we see on our screen because we actually see in the top 15 teams. But at that number 11 spot, talk about the team at the number 11 spot. Of course, you started from 10, which was Gold Blooded Titans. Right out that side. And why is this number important? Because we've talked about the selection process. If a team doesn't select, for example, it could be Watkins or it could be Motor City Jags. If those teams do not select to go to the YNC, then of course it's next team up in chronological order from the rankings. So let's just say those 2 teams don't select. Watkins and Motor City make it final. They head out. Then these teams bump up to sit inside the bracket. Who's at the number 11 spot?
So sitting at the number 11 spot right now, you have the KC Outlaws. Mama, there goes that man, Kane Archer again and company. A team that has been in the past 2 national championships for their age division
Yeah.
at the YNC at 11U and 12U. They have yet to win the coveted title. They bridemaid, never the bride, been the bridesmaid for the past 2 years. But if somebody doesn't accept
Nah,
those
they ain't been the
invitations,
bridesmaid. You being nice, Clay. They been the side chick, bro. Cause
come on, Jonah, don't do him like that. Don't do him like that.
hey, listen, Archie know I love him. Chuck know I love him. But man, okay, the closest you could describe the Outlaws, man, you got to say they the Buffalo Bills of youth football getting to the championship and just not capturing it, man. I'm not lying.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
But no, but it's no
But
insult to those kids. No insults
yeah,
at all, Clay. Everybody knows a ton of talent, and we talk to them off screen all the time. We're like, man, you this close, but would it be a year? And you and I had this conversation off camera earlier this week, Clay. We was like, man, how funny would it be if the Outlaws got in, played somebody at the bottom seed like Rampage, and returned that favor back to Rampage and went knocking them off at the beginning, man.
yeah. I mean, that would be something that would almost be kind of like poetic justice, you know. But I do think that I've been in contact with a couple teams. We've had some teams that, they're still on the fence, so we're still trying to wait to see if they're going to accept. It may be a possibility they can sneak in there. From my understanding, I think that KC Outlaws have two more games that they're trying to get in between
Right.
this weekend and, to get what they need to get to be eligible. So it's going to be something to watch. I don't know, man. I mean, it's one of those things where if I'm comparing KC Outlaws to the number one team in the country, LA Rampage, I think Rampage has a more complete team. I think that right now, Twin and coaching staff company, man, they are coaching at a very high level. But you cannot take away the Kane Archer factor. You just can't take it away, man. The kid is special. The kid can make or break a game. He can change some things. Like I said, when you and I were talking on our last show, if you even go back to preseason when they played the Clock Boys,
Right.
some questionable calls. You have some different refs in that game. Kane Archer is the superhero, you know. So
Right.
he's an interesting kid to watch, and again, that's why I'm kind of hoping that, or I keep my fingers crossed that maybe Motor City sees the light and decides to do something a little bit different because, I mean, I just love to see great matchups. How epic would it be to get a Kane Archer versus CJ game?
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
And the YNC is the
I just
only stage that I feel like deserves a game of that magnitude.
Man, it would be amazing. But the good thing I've spoken to Motor City coaches, assistant coach last week and the week before. So, if things work out, it's all about scheduling. It's all about if they can participate and fulfill their commitments. But again, we would love to have them. I think they'd be a great part of the existing 13Us with the number one team in the nation, number three team in the nation, number four team in the nation, number five team in the nation, number seven team in the nation. I think it just would be a great addition to those 13Us just to really give those kids and listen, because most likely this 13U group, it might be their last year playing football. So let them go out with a bang, man. Let them have fun. Let them play on the biggest stage. Listen, there's no other youth football national championships that will be at a stadium like Trash Power with the Jumbotron, the instant replay, the red flag challenge. It's just not. So, I mean, it's a great stage for those kids to get it down, man. And that's why it's on the biggest stage at the Mecca, man. It's going to be crazy.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Jonah, because a lot of people don't really understand the history of Trash Pile. And another thing that you mentioned that I've been forgetting to talk about too is the red flag challenge that we have at our national championship games, man. Why don't you go into a little bit more depth, not in of the history of Trash Pile, but also what we bring when we do the red flag challenges only in the national championship games.
Right. Right. So listen, we want to get it right. So those coaches, man, if it look like a fumble or like a catch, they get to throw it out. Reviewed by the referees. They make the right call. So we think it's that important. You spent your money to travel down, get them hotel rooms. Man, this is where you got to make sure that we get it right on the football field, man. So look, Clay, 12 and under. We talked about how exciting 13 and under is. 12 and under probably is, I'm going to go out on a limb. This class of 12 and under teams may be the most competitive youth football bracket since YNC started. Not just 12U, the most competitive bracket arguably since YNC started. And why do I say that? Man, listen, we'll start it from number 10 going up to number 1. Starting at the number 10 position, Cincinnati Bearcats out of Ohio. Number 9 out of Texas, Pearland Hurricanes. Number 8, Southfield Falcons out of Michigan. At the number 7 spot, they just came off a big win, won the championship in Georgia, Falcons United. Whenever you can come out of that gauntlet between ABA, East Metro, all those different teams, RDU, all those different teams, you're a true champ. Falcons United, is at the number 7 spot. Number 6, Cypress Lakes Hornets. This is a dark horse that no one knows about. No one goes there and scouts them. No one looks at this team. This is a team where they're like, oh man, they're from Central Florida. Tough kids, a lot of athletes. Kind of reminds me when you look at a kid like, where was what's his name from running back who played for the Colts, or Emmitt Smith. They came from places like that. Deion Sanders, all coming out of Pahokee and all those areas. They got a bunch of that right there at Cypress Lakes Hornets. They call them Big
Gotcha.
Cypress. Number 5, Cali Bears. Number 4, they're new at the number 4 spot, and why? Deservingly so. They knocked off the Golden Army. Then the following week, knocked off Lauderhill Lions. They went through a gauntlet just to get where they're at, Clay. And so to come in
Very
at that
true.
number 4 position, the Lauderdale Lakes Vikings, you got to give them all the credit in the world. So congratulations for breaking the top 5, and they did it the hard way. Nothing was given; it was all earned. Now, a team that has been grinding quietly all year, tough. They've been sitting in the wings. They've been sitting behind teams. They've been sitting behind the ABAs of the world, just grinding it out. But now are in the top 3. SRT Giants playing solid football, deservingly so. They're no glitz and glamours. This is a team that's going to bring their hard hats, their lunch pails, and they're going to play some football. And of course, the teams that's been maintaining at the 1 and 2 all year, dynamic. We all know these 2 teams got all the star power in the world. You got all the running backs. You got the nice, flashy defense. You got the star players on each one of them. A Booby, and then, of course, number 13 and Jaheed. You can name everything that you want to add on a team, and those 2 teams got it. But listen, this is what I always would tell you about national championship runs, Clay. It's not like you get to play like they do regular in the season. You play on Saturday, you beat a team, you got a week to recover, week to go ahead, break down film, go home, chill out, do all your unwinding. A lot of things can happen when you play high-level football. When you play high-level football and you're a kid like Jaheed or Sequoia, you're at every down, you all out full speed. That takes a lot on your body. You're playing 100 miles an hour on Tuesday. On Wednesday, when you wake up, brother, you're playing 100 miles an hour again. So there's a lot of things that can happen in this gauntlet of football when you're playing it back to back to back to back. So it'll go to the team that can have not only just the quickest, but who can endure through thick and thin. So I like this 12U bracket, despite being top heavy by Louisville and DEA. Look for this 12U as soon as these kids get off the plane. Physical, fast. You're gonna love every bracket, I can guarantee, from Tuesday all the way to championship Saturday.
Well, the one thing I can say about this 12U bracket, Joan, is there's not a team on this top 10 list that I wouldn't want to personally coach. I mean, you talking about teams that have dynamic players. You talking about teams that have won some big games. You talking about guys that have stepped up in some pressure situations. Now, everybody has been talking that this is a Louisville Charger DEA national championship game.
Right.
Unless something crazy happens, which I don't think Louisville Chargers or DEA is playing any game right now this weekend or before we go to nationals. Those 2 teams will be on opposite sides of the bracket. So at the end
Right.
of the day, if they both handle their business as a lot of people predict, then you're talking about a national championship game that might be one for the ages. Because here's the situation. Last year at the 11U at IMG, no one challenged the Louisville Chargers.
No
No
one.
one challenged. A lot of
They ain't
teams
even
that
pick.
might have had, yeah, a lot of teams that might have had the opportunity chose to go a different route. So it's going to be interesting now that you have not just DEA, but like you said, SRT boys, Lauderdale Lake Vikings, Falcons United. Of course, they want to try to get they get back from a couple years. It's
Yeah.
going to be interesting now that you have some teams that have stepped up and just like, look, we feel we just as bad as you guys are. Let's lock this thing up.
Right. Right, man. Well, Clay, jump into a very interesting age group. Of course, this is always a talk on the internet. A lot of rifts going on, wins and losses at this age group. Talk about this 11U, man.
Man, so this 11U age division is one that I'm another one that I'm excited about. All right. So, like we all know, everybody's not going to be there, but here's what we do have. If we talk about the top 10 teams in the country, we're starting off at number 10 with Rare Breeds. Just took a loss to the North Carolina Giants. We know that they have a few injuries right now, but ultimately we're talking about a team that's going to get healthy and bounce back. number
And
9,
they
and
bounced
right
and they
now,
bounced back. Not to interrupt you, they bounced
go
back
ahead.
this week against their championship game, so they came out with a big win. So they are the Super Bowl champs. So they're coming back, but again, not healthy, not healthy play.
Sitting at number 9, you have right now Texas Sports State champion Pac Prime, and I watched that game firsthand, man. And you talking about a very good game that they had. I think the final score of it was 20-19, man. And you talking about a defensive front that Pac Prime has, man. That I don't know if a lot of teams in the country will be able to handle those guys, man. And here's the best part about it: they won the state championship game with probably without for sure their best player, but also their second best player, right?
Wow.
So, I mean, we all are in youth sports. How hard is it to win a state championship game when your top two players couldn't play because the game before in the state semifinals they got into a fight and couldn't play in the national championship game, or
Wow.
so it's one of those things where, man, they actually showed how complete of a team they are by winning without your two leaders on the field. Number 8, you have the North Carolina Giants. Sitting at number 7, Carroll City Chiefs, CSG. Number 6, you have Arizona Suns representing for the West Coast. Number
Yep.
5, and defending 3-time YNC national champions, hey, my man Reggie Arnold, RDU, Red Dog Unit, Real Deal University, whatever you want to call them. Hey, just make sure you can't say that they're not winners. He's going for a record-breaking 4 YNC national championships. So that's going to be something that nobody has done yet. Sitting at number 4, you have the West Orlando Jaguars out of Florida, another team that I'm excited to see up close and in person. Number 3, you have the St. Louis Bad Boys out of the Midwest, another team that a lot of people are questioning. Are they good enough to be considered one of the top 4 or 5 in the country? I think the Bad Boys are going to come to the YNC and prove it. Sitting at number 2, and ultimately, far as I know, the number 1 seed in the YNC National Championship, DMV Knights. They big, they strong, they physical, they tactical. Man, everybody that we've talked about is going to try to knock off the DMV Knights. So the question is, who's really got enough juice to do it? And then, of course, the number 1 team in the country right now, OG Ducks. They've had a phenomenal preseason. They've had a phenomenal regular season run. I think really they only had like one scare in their playoffs in California. You know, they have, as of right now, have elected to only play AYF, which is cool. And we wish those guys all the luck in the world. But I said it last week, and I say it again, man. I really wish that they would have came to the YNC because that's the only missing link from the top 5 teams in the country. So, but
Yeah,
ultimately,
and what makes that OG Ducks team so special too, Clay? A lot of people look at the offense, quarterbacks, big running backs, but man, what makes that defense? I mean, what makes the team so special is their defense, man, and that's what a lot of people don't recognize about this OG Ducks team. And last week we talked a little bit about the OG Ducks, and we talked about RDU, which we really before DMV Knights really start putting their hat in the ring. We just really thought were the two front runners of the team, and people was calling me up after our show last week. Hey man, Jonah, don't discount our Ducks, and we want to make sure that we're not discounting. Listen, let's clear that up. Just because the Ducks may not elect to play in YNC, Clay and I will make sure we give that team all the credit in the world. They are the number 1 team in the nation. That's where they're number 1 on our rankings. So regardless of where they play, there's no politics in how we rank. It's going to be if you're the best, you're the best. Clay said it. Do we want those kids to play? Absolutely. So RDU, of course, being the champs for the last 3 years, hasn't played up to par this year because RDU has been dominant. I told you I missed a kid like Spivey and things of that nature that really changed the play of RDU. But then they brought in kids like Boogie that kind of make it up. But let's not discount the losses that RDU had. RDU lost against in the preseason. RDU lost against the OG Ducks. And then a surprising loss, which caught me and you off guard. We didn't see them losing the rare breed. But, this is why you play the game, and this is why this is going to be the 11 and under championship, or redemption, I should say, postseason for RDU. Will they be able to punch it back? And the only missing link, of course, OG Ducks. Man, it really just makes it complete. So good luck to the Ducks. But it's going to be interesting, like you said, Clay, watching RDU trying to bounce back from
well,
the losses they had this year and show that they are national champs again 4 years in a row.
well, the thing that you also have to do too, man, on all aspects of it, and I know this may sound kind of jaded, but it's not. It's not a shot at anybody by any stretch of the imagination. This is just hard up facts. You have to complete it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, and when I say you have to complete it, no matter how great of your preseason run is, no matter how great your regular season run is, you have to complete it. And if we looking at track records, the two teams that have won national championships in this age level from the past has been RDU and the DMV Knights. These are the two teams that have completed the process and have been
Right.
crowned national champions, So I think it's going to be interesting too to have basically the two national champions from last year in the same bracket. I think that's going to create a special atmosphere at the YNC.
And that's what I tell Aunt Mike and LJ in California, man. Listen, we definitely got to give you credit for the regular season, dominating in preseason. But man, how many times have we seen that? We said it last week. LA Rampage was an example team. They won in the regular season, got popped in the national championship. We talk about Howard from Lambeau last year, won, dominated all year, lost to the Crew. So, I mean, it's great of how, and we thought they were just going to be runaways at national championship. But when you play those three back-to-back games and you sized up at the national championship at the end of the year where everybody wants a title, it's a different riff. So I just think, and I'm not, and again, it's because I love the game. I would hate the kids not to be, I mean, this is a year. You don't know if you're going to have all those kids back again next year. You don't know if they're going to be all on the 12U. And you're not going to know if everybody's going to be healthy like they're healthy in December right now. But man, if you're peaking like this and I'm coaching that team, I'm taking on anything that moves in my age group because I don't want at the end of the year to say, hey, man, we would have got y'all. Nah, you think you was going to get us? We coming to see y'all. So that's not just a thing to try to have the Ducks come out the YNC. I just think finish the drill. You had an amazing, there's always this in football. Preseason, regular season, and postseason. They all connect. You can't, nobody just gets a trophy skipping to postseason. You don't get a trophy for the preseason or the middle season. They all connect. So, hopefully the higher football gods get some minivans for them boys to get on down and get out on the football field so they all can. And listen, and even if some of these teams is going to play over at the other place, then great. At least get the football game. It's not so much that we want to take the photos. We want the games played no matter where they play it.
All right. So what we rolling on the 10U now?
Yes, sir. That would be my call of duty right now. So right
But you know
under,
what, Jonah? Hold on, Jonah.
yeah,
Let me do
yeah.
10U because you don't quite give
Oh God,
the
here we go.
recognition that needs to be deserved when you're talking about this 10U age level.
Oh,
You
hey,
want to go
listen, and
through
we're
it.
gonna have it out now. You know what, Clay? Yeah, go ahead. Take off on this 10U. I want everybody who's impacted by 10U to tag everybody on 10U. Clay and I finna have it out on who should be the number one team in the nation. So go ahead, take off. We're gonna express our views. We want America to weigh in right now. Ken and Linda, let's go. Call them out from the 10 to the number one, Clay. Let's go.
All right. So right now, sitting at number 10, you have Progress Village Panthers out of Florida. Number 9 team, Southfield Falcons out of Michigan. Number 8, Sean Moffitt, Drizzy Drake, Falcons United out of Georgia. Sitting at number 7, Air Academy out of Washington, and might I add, defending AYF national champion. Sitting at number 6, Lauderdale Lake Vikings. Number 5, Northside Pride.
Right.
Number 4, RDU. Number 3, Bessemer Tigers. Number 2 team in the country, Rare Breeds. And the number 1 team in the country, still
Nah, bro.
undefeated for over 365 days, the best 10U team in the world, Southeast Dallas Wolverines.
Hey, listen. America, chime in right now. Let's break a couple things down. All right. Let's start with Falcons United. Falcons United lost to the RDU and only to RDU. They haven't lost to anybody else. Let's start that there. So let's kind of rewind everything. People, it's all been over the internet. Sean Moffitt took another loss, et cetera, et cetera. So, of course, let's do the whole history. Preseason, they played 2 games. They lost to RDU. We're not counting preseason, and that's what Sean said he didn't want to do. So, in regular season, Sean comes back and puts a running clock on RDU. Running clock, right? So then after the running clock, RDU comes back and beats them in a tight game after that. Then they have to play again for the championship, and RDU comes out on top. So number one, it's always incredible. I don't know if you can ever beat it. If you're equally talented, coaching wise, player wise, Clay, I don't know if you're supposed to play a team 5 times in a season. I just don't think that's going to be beneficial. But they have to do it.
It should be a rule against that. It really should.
Yeah, I agree. After 3 times, I mean, it's enough is enough, right?
Yeah.
So that's the history of why Falcons United dropped this week, because they lost to a team to what you can call in the regular season twice for the Super Bowl champs. But then you got to ask yourself, who's better than the Falcons? If you go down our list, and we can go all the way through U City Squad, Playmakers Elite, OG Ducks, Renegade Colts, Progress Village Panthers, Southfield Falcons, even Air. Do you feel those teams are better than Southfield? I mean, in Falcons United? Can you literally say, I'm going to line up right now, Air, Southfield, Progress, Renegades, and who's going to beat Sean Moffitt outside of RDU? Let's be 100 with each other. Because other people say if you lose twice, you should be out the rankings. But just get on here and tell me where you think who should be in front of Sean Moffitt right now if you're really talking about the best football. Then you got the argument about Air Academy. Well, they lost to the number 1 team, they lost to NSP, and they lost in a tight game to Rare Breed. But that's a team that they played in the top 5. 3 teams in the top 5. Then they run from smoke, and they played Rare Breed to the last couple minutes, and you see that they have a tough football team. But then let's talk about the number 2 and then 1 team. Okay, we know Southeast Dallas has been there. The argument and the knock on Generation Next and, of course, YNC, who has Southeast Dallas played this year? Of course, they're the defending national champs. They've blown out any and everybody they haven't had a competitive game yet. They played the AYF champ early in the season, blew the doors off. Anybody that's got in front of them. Rare Breed has taken a different course. Yeah.
No. You being nice. They didn't blow the doors off. Them boys thought they was in what you seen them Rubicon Jeeps driving down the street where only thing in it is a steering wheel.
Reggie gonna get at you, bro.
Hey,
so I'm gonna ask you a question. Let's take a poll.
Wasn't no doors, wasn't no windshield when they was done.
Let's take a poll. Who is the number 1 team at Tenue in the nation right now? Is it Rare Breeds, who beat the OG Ducks? They beat NSP. They beat the Blue Crush. I mean, who is the number 1 team in the nation? Or is it the defending SED Wolverines who blew the doors off the AYF national champs? They blew out in a regular season game. They scored 100 points on the team. They're averagely beating teams by 36 to 37 points. Now, their league doesn't allow them to play outside the league during the year. So that's what it is.
Jonah, they scored 100 points on a running clock. On a running clock game.
That's crazy.
So AG, I know you in the background, man. We got somebody that want to come on and talk some jazz. Can you set up a code for me and I'm gonna send it to him? Put it in our text group, please, AG. But go ahead, Jonah. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Oh God, what I'm getting myself into. But look, so I'm being honest. SED. Now, I'll say this about Rare Breeds. Rare Breeds can either play 100% on, or sometimes they play down to their competition. I've seen Rare Breeds come out, blow teams out, and then I've seen them win by 2 points. But you know the old saying, Clay, 1 point to win, 2 points to blowout. So they've been able to be undefeated, travel the country. But look, the best thing about all of this, Clay, come December 6th to the 11th, you won't have to guess who's going to be the number 1 team.
No. It's not going to be no debate. Whoever wins the YNC will be the number 1 team in the country. And listen, for a moment, I'm going to take my Texas hat off. I'm going to be fair.
Yeah.
Right? So I do think that the Rare Breeds have a very impressive resume, right? But the one thing I got to take a look at, too, is that in the manner of some of these victories. And, I rock with Coach Mark. But some of those victories was on the hair, by the hair of the chinny chin chin, fella. And, some of those victories, hey, I mean, like they say, though, if you ain't had a dick, she'll be your uncle. But if the wind would have blown 1 mile per hour further the other direction, they wouldn't have won those games.
Right.
So the one thing I can say is all of SED's victories have been convincing. And I went on record and said, even after their state championship, I felt like they should have dominated that state championship more. I felt like that maybe people see that video and think there's a chink in the SED armor. But as I sit back and think about it more, you got to look at it like this, man. Football is about matchups, and even that
Yeah.
game they had against the Gold-Blooded Titans, everybody keeps saying, "Oh, there's no other 10Us in the state. They haven't played nobody." No, y'all wrong. Gold-Blooded Titans is a top 10 The only problem is they're in the same league with SED and has had to play them twice, so their resume don't look good. But if we
So
take gold-blooded Titans out of Texas and we drop them in any other league in the country, we talking about those guys as a top 10 team, and we talking about them having an invite to the YNC. And I'm just going to be honest with you. So with that being said, I think that because SED is so dominant, people take it as they not playing no competition. And that's not it. They just that good, bro. They just that good.
So here is my next question with this team. We've talked about the top two heavy teams right now. They're doing their thing at 1 and 2. My dark horse, and you can pick your dark horse out in this whole bracket. Nobody talks about them. They're not in the sexy city. They don't have flashy uniforms. They're not in front of they don't. Their IG probably got only 300 followers. But man, when I tell you it's a solid football team, Clay, and I tell you that they have all the tools, they have the offense, they got a solid running back, they got defense, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing in the national championship game. Bessemer Tigers out of Alabama is that squad, my man.
Yes,
If you watch
yes.
football and you appreciate that if you can't score, you can't win type of football, that's the Bessemer Tigers, man. My dark horse and 10U, don't sleep on Bessemer. Them boys coming for a national championship.
No, you most definitely right, man. I've been talking to, and the great thing I like about them, man, is they. I'm sorry, I'm sending this information so the people can get on. But the great thing I like about them, man, professionalism they work in. And when I say the professionalism, I deal with every team that's invited to the YNC, whether if they accept the invitation or whether that they don't. And the type of support that gets behind Bessemer. I've got city councilmen calling me and having conversations with me about how they get the registration paid, what days they need to
Yeah,
be down there, charter buses getting down there. The city of Bessemer
yeah,
really gets behind these teams to get the nationals. And I think, man, every area in the country can take a page out of that book because at the end of the
yeah,
day, man, when these kids qualify for the YNC or any national championship for that matter, man, it is something special. It's something they're gonna remember for the
yeah.
rest of their lives. And I think that kids can play better and more confident when they have that type of support coming from home.
Yeah, and then a team that really surprised people, they went up and played Red Breeze this weekend, Northside Pride. Listen, for anyone who didn't watch that game, Northside Pride Black out of Florida was beating the number 2 team in the country all the way into the fourth quarter. 18-6 was the score until it was 4 minutes left in that game. If you sleep on Northside Pride, you will go home with an L instantly. That's what I'm telling you. This age group is so evenly matched. Now, again, you got to give it to the Rare Breeds. They had the wherewithal to pull it out, to play 4 quarters of football. They don't have any quit in them. They've been behind a couple of games, and they really have the intensity to just say, man, we never out of a game. At 10 years old, Clay, let's back up, think about it. We take these as high school players or no, these are 10-year-old kids. Just 5 years ago, they was 5-year-old babies. So, but for them
Most
to have
definitely.
that mindset, to have that mindset with 4 minutes left, bro, we ain't dead. Man, you can't coach that. You can't coach that. You can't give no kids that it factor. So you got to know that when you go in the ring with the Rare Breeds, it could be 1 minute left in the game. I mean, the same thing, Clay. We were up in DMV. They were down early. But this Rare Breeds, I've been able to see them to really just have that it factor where they can fight through it. So you got Bessemer Tigers, which is a tough team. You got Northside Pride that was beating the number 2 team all the way into the fourth quarter. You got Southeast Dallas Wolverines, which is the number 1 team in the country, not just by putting the tag on their chest, but when you're demonstrating it. I think, when you and I were out there in Texas and we were watching that matchup between them and Reggie and the Air, it started out like a heavyweight championship fight. Touchdown, touchdown back. But after that, they found something that they saw weak, in Air Academy, and man, they ran that until it went all night. So it was great coaching. It wasn't just, hey, let's rely on some great athletic abilities. They say, hey, man, they're not coming up to stop this. They want to play us on a 12-yard cushion. We're going to throw wide receivers all game until they want to come up and play. They never made the adjustment. That kid had 330 yards receiving at a 10-year-old position. You and I were there. We witnesses. So you got to have a lot of interesting matchups, not just from, like you said,
but let's be real,
matchups.
Jonah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that same young man that you're talking about that had over 300
Oh, yeah.
yards receiving,
Yeah, baby.
he's 9. He could be playing 9U. That's
That's
what is even more stupid about it. He should, if he was playing true age, he would be playing 9U. That's
And he's
crazy.
big,
But I will say this, and you brought up a very important point that as I go through my analyzation process, I forgot. We were in DMV. We did see Rare Breeds battle back versus at that time a City Life team that was a top 8 team in the country. And anybody can say whatever they want. At that time, when they had number zero is a grown motherfucking man.
Grown man. Grown.
A grown man. I mean, he making noise at the 11U level. So you can't take away what they've done. But here's what I'm gonna do, Jonah. Here's what I'm gonna do. So somebody hit me up. They want to speak on the behalf of Texas because I can only say so much, because then it becomes Clayton being a hater and this and that. So, man, we got a show in Dallas. We got a show in Dallas called "What's Your Heart Beat Like," man. And there's a young lady on there. She's a sister to me, man. She want to come on and voice her opinion, especially to the people in Atlanta. They be getting under her skin, man. Good. So, AG, if we ready, man, go and bring the sister on so she can talk to the people.
Hey, what's up, Clay? You see my hat?
I see you, fam. I see you.
What's happening? Hey, listen, you made history, sister. You're the first woman ever on the show. So, hey, screenshot it, put it up. First woman to go ahead and make it on the Rankins Uncut. You know how we do it over here. Clay don't have no filters, so just be ready for whatever.
Yeah, I don't have to do all that because they know who I am. Like, even if they act like they don't know, they know.
Right.
They see the name. It's nothing new to everybody, But, because I'm a woman, so, women and youth football, people tend to try to ignore. But me, I done gained a whole little posse. Me, D, Tara, it's a couple B, all of us. It's a lot of us. But what I do want to say, because these crybaby ass ninjas, I'm going to use, because they always block me on Facebook, so I'm going to use, the code.
Well, they can't block. Hey, they can't block you tonight. You got the stage. It's on and popping.
I don't know, Jonah. I don't know. I ain't safe. I don't know. They've been having me in prison 30 days, 60 days, whatever. I don't know. But I'm gonna use it because it's been a lot of crying. So first, let me just say, I know they was crying about, they always crying about the Texas teams. They mad because, so we had Crew, ABN, and SED who went. First of all, they went 2 years ago, right? And YNC represented, right? They took their L's, right?
Correct.
They went the next year. Not only did they play in preseason, but they went back to YNC, right? And y'all dropped the days from 60 days to 30 days. Make it kind of even for Texas, right? Not to say, because I don't, even our people in Texas, they get in their feelings about not recognizing the other teams that went when Clay and them first started YNC, right?
Right.
So let's recognize the Cowboys and all those teams that went first when Clay and them started the YNC, right? Mm-hmm. But now, I literally, every 5 minutes y'all been talking, I put in all the teams this year that are coming from Texas. And we're talking about from Houston to DFW, Dallas, and Fort Worth. So don't play with us. Right, Jonah? And I heard you talking. Don't play with me. But I really been, I told Clay, let me tell you, I told Clay, I like how you've been getting a little spicy these last few weeks.
Oh, here we go.
I like how you've been getting a little spicy these last few weeks. So we on one. I'm cool with it.
Right. But you can't let people paint your picture. You feel me?
Yeah, but let's recognize, first of all, Texas. I know everybody is stuck on youth football. Texas is definitely taking over. If y'all count how many teams that we have this year, don't sleep on now one of them. And I know everybody. First of all, that Marcus Flanagan group, the Referees. First of all, that's their group because it ain't even belong to nobody else other than them niggas. You know how they do. They take over that whole group. They take over that whole group. It don't belong to nobody else. So they gonna, soup up they shit for 10U. I ain't heard about shit else other than they 10U.
What happened to the filter, T? We started out really like real chill, and then we just went 1,000 miles just now.
I'm sorry, French connection.
Oh Lord! Hey, youth football. Lord help me.
Okay, no, for real. So let's and I want to address something this past weekend because Clay, you was out there. So everybody wanted to complain about the film. We streamed a lot. What's your heart be like? Let me tell you, me and my co-host Kiva Rush and Russ and Stevie, we all streamed a live from this week's Texas Sports League state championship, right? So everybody want to speak on that. Let me just tell y'all, we took that down. So if y'all didn't get that shit within 24 hours, badass coaching. Just like y'all let y'all kids go swimming before nationals and shit. That's product of what the fuck y'all do. That ain't our fault. It was up there for 24 hours. We took it down. And I don't care. Clay, you know, Johnny, you gonna see me. I'll be down there Sunday morning. You can talk to me in person. Clay know me. Clay know me explicitly. But we took it down. So if anybody want to claim like, oh, SED took it down, ain't nobody had access to our lives and streams. It was us. We took it down. So if you want to talk to somebody, my DM open. I don't answer everybody's shit because you niggas be on one, but I will respond. Like, we took it down, and it's okay. Y'all still have to line it up. It was 8 seed last year.
So T.
But we have a lot of teams in Texas. Jonah, we have a lot of Texas teams in this year, right? From 6U to 12U.
Right. Correct.
I put the list in for everybody in the comments. Just go in there. I put the list in for everybody from 6U to 12U. No shit from DFW to Houston. There's a whole list. It's not just 10U. We have three on some of them, we have 3 teams on each level from Texas. So while everybody's so caught up on this 10U shit, y'all ass better be studying for them other damn teams while y'all worried about 10U. Because if not,
so T, before we let you get out of here real quick, if you think and we'll talk about it. You on 12U. You have DEA, what they call a predominant team, and you also have Pearland. You have Pearland at the 12.
Wait! They got on our ass this weekend. We said Pearland because we from DFW. We from Dallas. We from Oak Cliff. It's Pearland. Right. I'm sorry.
Pearland. Okay. So of course, you got your SED. You have your ABNs at the 6 and 7s. Where, and let's be realistic. Just don't be a homer right now. Be real with it.
Okay.
Who do you feel? Okay. Who do you feel could literally win a national championship, and at what age group you think is going to come home to Texas? Just be 100.
Okay, so let me tell y'all. So 6U is going to be tough. Me and Xavier talked about 6U is going to be tough as fuck. Okay, right? I'm gonna leave 6U open. I don't fucking know. It's 6U. Them kids just be out there. You know what I'm saying? You never know what happens with kids at 6. But we do have EGB Hot Boys, better known as Southeast Dallas Wolverines. I ain't gonna be funny. Okay, so they out there. So 7U, let me tell you, 7U, that shit gonna be crazy. Don't sleep on 7U because you have Southeast Dallas.
You got ABN at the number 2, and you got Pat Prime at the number 8.
ABN, you got Pat Prime, and you got the South. Yes, coming all from Texas. And when I say, and I know everybody think nobody play anybody here in Texas. That's a lie. You have 2 of the major cities in Texas, all in the same league. And not all.
So why don't we do this? Why don't everybody get online right now? Y'all heard the top 10 that we've named. Tell us what state has the most teams in YNC so far in 2021. Y'all go do that homework real quick. Is it going to be Georgia? Is it going to be Florida? Is it going to be Texas? Is it California? Alabama?
I think
do that homework.
Who
do you think is the
RDU
top?
has the most teams. And this me being the media. This me being the media. RDU has the most teams in YNC this year. But that was the same thing for last year.
Well, RDU's been dominant. So I don't know. I'm not just saying what organization. I'm saying what state has the most teams. So, for example, if you go in Georgia, you got two teams. You got Georgia number 1, Georgia number 2. They're already in. Duval is Florida. That's one team. OG Ducks, California. Torrance City Tide is Alabama. Wahoma Seminoles is at the number 7. They out of Alabama. More Truth is out of Oklahoma. Gold Blood and Titans out of Texas. Virginia. So just in that 8U alone, how many teams are in, that area? 9U. Let's take it from the top. Century Cat from Georgia.
Okay, and 8U, we got 3 now. And let me tell you, 8U, Texas got 3. And when I say the top 3 teams have played each other, and it's not a blowout. So everybody think every game supposed to be a blowout when it reaches like state and shit. I don't know what other states do, but in the state of Texas, ain't none of them shit's going to be blowouts, right? So those, when you had Pac Prime playing TNS 8U, that was an upset because it was an upset. And that was what, 7-0. Then you had GBT in the state just past weekend beat TNS 8-6.
Yeah, no blowouts.
Them game, no, it's never been that way. You know what I'm saying? So if you're gonna give it on that, like the 8U level is so crazy because Texas has 3 teams. Don't sleep on none of them. And I like the Georgia Eagles. I swear to God, I watched them. I watch Gen X shit all the time. I get y'all notifications. But I watch everything. I'm a woman.
Right.
I'm a woman.
Right.
I know enough, and I know everybody think we don't know enough and all this shit, but I ain't that. So I watch everything. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I'm just asking, T. This is America meeting for the first time tonight.
Hey, man. Boy, I'm finna cut you off right now. I'm not finna be I'm not finna have you do my homeboy Jonah like this because I know where it's finna go. When she starts saying hey and all that shit, AG, go on, cut off. We see you in Florida, Toy. We see you in Florida.
You be cool. Texas on me.
Oh, Clay got me in the Thanksgiving Twilight Zone. Hey, so listen, man, but everybody's spirited about their own state. It's good to see, Texas gonna really have the babies coming down, man. Just trying to represent, Texas is really making what we call a youth football national push. We always know that from high school, man, just when you go in the state of Texas, you can appreciate just the facilities. You go to high school of Texas, they have 2 big things in Texas. Big churches. Like when I ride up to Dallas and all that, like the church is like a college. I'm like, man, that church got to be like 50 mil. And then the same thing with the high school football. They have stadiums for high school.
You're right about that, man. And that's the one thing, and that's the one thing I tell these Texas coaches because, like, for example, Trash Pile is the mecca. Trash Pile, you can't talk about Florida high school football without talking about Trash Pile. But if you take Trash Pile and put it in Texas,
going to swallow up.
It's not the same comparison because the stadiums we have in Texas, we have high school stadiums that hold 40,000 people. We have high school stadiums that are 20, 30, almost $40 million. So the standard is a little bit different just because they got all this oil and gas money here in Texas. They got to find somewhere to spend it. Might as well spend it in football. But that's why I say the history of Trash Pile is what's so important because you're going to have some areas where up in the Northeast, they don't have stadiums like Trash Pile,
Right.
So it's going to all balance out, man. It's going to be a great show. But, I'm looking at these comments, man, and Toy done got us off on the sidebar, man. Let's jump on this 9U, man. The people want to know who the top 10 is on 9U.
You would think Toy was Richard Pryor up on this youth football show, man. She got turned up. She came on nice. Hey, and next thing 3 minutes deep, I'm like, oh, Lord. All right, here we go. 9 and under, man, since you took over on that 10 and under. At the bottom right now, looking in 10, the number 10 spot out of Missouri, the NTB Bad Boys. Of course, got an invitation last week, Louisiana Wave. Coach Erica Wise. Hey, shout out. There's not a lot of women who are head coaches of youth football teams.
Most definitely.
So I'll be remiss if I couldn't just give her a shout out, man. Watched her when I was in Texas. Just coached them boys up. And I got to tell you, Louisiana Wave, formerly Bessemer. So she's not new to this. You know, she's been around, but rebranded under the new program under Louisiana Wave. Expect them boys to come make some noise. It's a lot of time.
Formerly Slidell.
Oh, they would kill me. I'm sorry. Slidell Hurricanes. Okay?
Yeah.
And then a team that, look, defending national champions, they look a little different right now. But what they've done to where we're at from the preseason to now, they're a different team. And a lot of times, you know, we'll get phone calls, Clay, hey, man, why y'all still got ABN or the crew at 9U ranked? They took a loss this week. What you don't understand, they play in a 10U division. They're playing a Super Bowl against a 10U team. They don't have odd age groups in their specific league, so they got to play up. So, you know, this is a team, ABN, that is now going to get to play against their own age group down here. They are the defending national champs at the 8 and under. Look for this to be the dark horse once again. And it's funny we're calling them a dark horse because how many times do you call a defending champ a dark horse? Well, we kind of detached from the middle of the season to where they are now. Expect them boys to be tuned. They do have national championship experience. Not only did they do it last year, they did it the year before, played Central DeKalb in a tough game in the national championship, came back and played them again in the national championship and won. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they kind of evolve through not having the media hype that they had the years before, but really can just focus. The coaches took their media, all their stuff off the media, and they just got back to playing the basics of football. Of course, the OG Ducks at number 7. Don't sleep on that 9 and under strong team that represents from the West Coast. I love that OG Ducks team, too. It's a lot of teams from the OG Ducks, and that's another one. We talk about how RDU put teams inside the national championship. You also got to talk about how many teams the OG Ducks have in national championships around the country. Of course, the DMV Knights. Hey, happy they came over this year. They made a big jump. DMV Knights, of course, previously in another league, they wanted to go ahead and jump on the machine. They've done well. They represented their brand well, and they punched their ticket to the national championship. So DMV Knights, man, just really doing their thing at the 9 and under. Duval Jags, one of my favorite teams that doesn't really, again, get the hype, as we say. Another sleeper at the 9 and under. A lot of competition. They've punched their ticket. They've accepted at the number 5 spot. Great Elite, listen, a team that has been enough to go all the way to the semifinals in the national championship. They just needed like one more player. Will they have it this year with another year of experience? Look for Great Elite out of New York to really do the things. And how many times can you say a youth football team out of New York is representing on the level they are? They come in at the number 4 spot. Here we go. We're talking about the little state of Texas. Okay? This is for Toy. TNS Cougars at the number 3 spot, representing for Texas. A lot of people have not studied this team. This team will catch a lot of teams off guard. They haven't scouted them. When they come out there and they see that speed and they see that toughness, it could potentially be what we call ignorance of football because they haven't been the Central DeKalb that's on the internet. Oh, I know what Howard run. I know what Lambeau run. I know what the Chiefs run. They don't really study TNS Cougars like that. So while your eyes are looking on another prize, expect this Cougar team might punch you in the mouth. A big 9U team. There's nothing fancy about this team, I'm going to tell you right now, Clay. It's just all smash mouth football. They call them the Hot Boys for a reason. They've been hot all season, undefeated. They come down. They're not going to try to do a reverse. They're not going to try to do misdirection. They're not going to run counters. They're going to line up in 22 inside trap and come right at your linebackers until you're tired of tackling their big backs. It's simple. We feel our kids are bigger and stronger than yours. We're not going to try to out-coach you. We're not going to try to outmaneuver you. We're going to out-physical you. So if you're not ready to win that in the trenches, don't get on the field with the Miami Gardens Chiefs because that's what they're going to bring to the table, big and physical. And then Central DeKalb Jaguars. What can you say about Coach Howard? A lot of coaching, a national experience. He has national experience. He's been on the stage, knows what it takes to do what we call those circuit games. And what do I mean by circuit games? Playing that Monday, playing that Tuesday, playing that Wednesday, getting recovered, know how to get his kids in bed, know how to get them back up and perform the next day. He's a great motivator. Say what you want to say about Howard, but his kids will run through a big wall for you. People counting him out. I mean, Howard has quit probably coaching 20 times in 1 week. And because he's so passionate about it, Clay, He'll call, oh man, I ain't with all this, because you got a lot of parents, you got a lot of people pulling at you. But in the end of the day, the kids love him, the parents love him. He's been a great leader in this community, and that's what makes Century Cab, or what we call Lambo, that squad. So that's your teams for the 9 and under. Amazing bracket. I can't wait to see who's just gonna come out on top.
And that's the one thing I can say, man. Me and Howard hadn't always seen eye to eye, man. But you got to respect the guy's resume. You got to respect what he's done with the CD Jags. National champion 2 years ago. Last year, national runner-up. This year, number one team in the country and favorite to win the YNC this year, man. So all I know is I'm going to see Howard. Like I say all the time, he's going to have a boom box that weigh more than him on his shoulder. And he's going to be screaming Lambo walking into the stands, or walking onto the field. But it's a couple of teams that I do think that are that's gonna keep this age division a little bit more open thought at the beginning of the year. So it'll be interesting. But I'm gonna roll over to 8U. 8U is an age division that, man, we're gonna have a lot of teams in 8U. We're gonna have a lot of teams in 8U, and we're gonna have a lot of good teams in 8U. So as we start with the top 10, number 10, Virginia Elite Tigers out of Virginia, of course. Sitting at number 9, you have the Gold-Blooded Titans out of Texas, defending Texas sports state champion, and they just won their state championship this past weekend. At number 8, More Truth out of Oklahoma, a very dynamic Oklahoma team that can spread you out and pass the ball really well, and they've got 2 big physical defensive tackles that gives a lot of teams a lot of problems. Sitting at number 7, the Wahoma Seminoles. Now, a lot of people may say, hey, man, who are the Wahoma Seminoles? Well, I can tell you this. They have a lot of kids on this team from that Center Point national championship team from last year. So you've got the DNA in that team of a YNC national champion. Number 6, Tarrant City Tide, another strong team out of Alabama that I think is ready to hit the YNC, hit Miami, and really turn some heads. Number 5, you have the OG Ducks. Now, OG Ducks is a team that dominated the preseason. OG Ducks is a team that dominated the entire West Coast. Went over to Georgia, played the Georgia Eagles and the Twin City Outlaws, and took 2 losses. But unlike a lot of people, when they take those losses, instead of going a different route, OG Ducks decided to retool. And one thing they had on their list is that even though they're going to honor their commitment to the AYF, they had to come to the YNC because they wanted to try to get their lick back on those 2 Georgia teams. So you got to respect that. Sitting at number 4, you have the Duval Jags out of Florida, another team that I feel like a lot of people are underestimating. And it's funny because I know we talk about RDU and all the teams they have. I know we talk about the OG Ducks and all the teams they have between the 2 national championships, and we talk about Lauderdale Lakes and their 4 teams.
Right.
Quiet as kept, Duval Jaguars have some teams in these national championships. You got to put their name on the list too. And the thing about it is Duval has teams that are all like in the top 5,
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you take a look at it, they're 9U is in at number 5 in the country. They're 8 number 4 in the country. They're 6U is in at number 2 in the country. Again, an area that people don't talk a lot about, but man, they are making some noise on the national scene. Number 3 on 8U, Miami Garden Ravens, team that won their FYFL championship, and they are going to go for AYF national championship. Sitting at number 2, Twin City Outlaws, a very dynamic and fast team. That was the number 1 team for a good portion of the year this year, right? But ultimately, that spot was taken over by the number 1 team in the country right now, the Georgia Eagles out of Atlanta, Georgia, a team, like I said, I've watched them play 3 or 4 times this year, man. I've been impressed every time. They're fast, they're physical, they fly to the ball, they throw the ball very well, especially at 8 years old. And their coaches, man, I've never seen a 8U coaching staff this focused. These guys walk in and I can't even get an interview from Coach James before the game. They're not talking to nobody. They walking in the stadium. Now, they'll laugh and shoot the shit with you after the game. But before the game, man, they are strictly about those kids, strictly about the business. And the thing I like is that they're teaching the kids the right way to get focused and get ready for the game and play the game. And not to mention, they look good because, in my opinion, they've got some of the best uniform combinations I've seen all year. So
Yeah.
that's rounding up our top 10 on 8U, man. And it's another age bracket where we talking about a lot of good teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, hey, no, we can't discount this age group right here, 7 and under. Man, listen, all these teams accepted. I mean, we barely got room for this age group and rank up. We'll talk about rank up in a second. That's going down this weekend. But 7 and under, Clay, man, at the number 10 spot, CBE out of Ohio. You like this team. You saw them come out playing physical. This is one team you said, hey, man, let me pump the brakes. What was so special about CBE that just said, man, Clay, I love this team. They got to be in the top 10 in the country.
I mean, it has to be the speed. And then to mention too, if you look at their total body of work, I want to say they're either 14-1, 14-2, and have won like 10 straight games in a row. You've got to respect that, especially when a team at 6 and 7 years old, it's hard to take a loss. A lot of these kids are just learning football. They're just
Right.
learning how to play the game. For them to take a loss at that age and to be able to retool and bounce back, man, it speaks volume. It speaks about a team that I know that they're going to be able to turn some heads when they hit this national scene.
One of my favorite teams in youth football. They are the lunch pail group, tough group of kids, tough group of parents. They're going to protect their babies anytime. Listen, if they were in any other state than where they're at right now, they would be Super Bowl champs year in, year out. Hateville Hornets coming in at the number 9 spot. They always got to play through RDU. There's nobody else who can beat this Hateville team, Clay. I've seen it. Week in, week out. They rack up wins, rack up wins, rack up wins. They were sitting right outside that number 8 at the number 9 spot just because they lost to who? RDU in the Super Bowl. The only loss. So it's like their nemesis. Yep. Will one day they have enough to get over that hill to beat RDU? And if that ever happens, it's going to really be hard to stop this team because it's a team full of tough kids that really just know how to bounce back. And they just have their own neighborhood rival like a Florida State or UM of old back in the 90s. These two, when they get together, it's always sparks. So Hateville at the number 9. Listen, a team that was always in our top 3 and 4 all year, Pac-Pound, took a loss right here in the postseason with one of the biggest youth football players you'll see in youth football. But not only that, this is a special team, another team that, again, if they play anywhere outside of Texas, Clay, nobody's beating Pac-Prime. You put them in a situation, they're going to dominate anywhere they go. And so they're right here at the number 8 spot, just holding on. But let me tell you, in a solid position to really have to come out and play the number 1 team once this all kicks off in the YNC. Another team that's tough out of the Florida area, right around that Duval area, but now in the Gainesville area, the G Team Hurricanes, special kids on this squad. A lot of speed, a lot of finesse on this team. You're going to see a lot of skill positions on the G Team Hurricanes, and that's what makes them different. Of course, a team that's really just earning their own name. Their big brothers always representing on the 10U. Didn't think they had it at the lower pound. Well, hey, listen, don't be mistaken. SED Wolverines at the 7 under, something to be reckoned with. Of course, Toy, that's for you. Those SEDs going to represent Texas. I know you're screaming for the bigger and better right here in Texas. And now, back to another group, Clay, that we talk about that you keep saying here in this name of the program, Bessemer Tigers out of Alabama. You're hearing that name once again as well. That program is putting out some top quality football players and top quality football teams. Bessemer Tigers, they're going to give you everything you want and more every week, week in and week out, and we're happy to have them down at the YNC. L'Oreal Stallions at the DC, representing the DMV area, a team that has another style of football. Would love the Stallions to one day come over to the YNC. Traditionally, they've been an AYF team in great form. You're going to always rank these kids no matter where they play at. We got to always remember it's zero politics. If you're good, you're good. We're not going to knock those kids down. They deserve to be at the number 4 spot, and one day we want to see them play over at the YNC. And, of course, one of my favorite teams, they call them the Bugatti Boys. Coach Mosel doing a great job in South Florida, the Lauderdale Lake Vikings. This is a team that has returned from the championships. They didn't elect to play nationals last year. They are taking on the challenge this year. Dark Horse, the Bugatti Boys, Lauderdale Lake Vikings, led by Coach Mosel. Look for them to do big things at the number 3. And, of course, the top 2 teams all year that's just been exchanging, 1 and 2 positions. ABN, formerly known as the Crew, at the number 2 position, holding it down. You already know what you're going to get with them. A lot of physicality, a top youth football team that's been dominant all year. Don't expect them to let up at all. But the true number 1 team that's just really represented no matter what coast they were on. They traveled from the East Coast. They traveled over to California, played the Grant Pass Pacers, put a running clock on the Pacers. Really kind of just, that program is electing to go a different route because RDU just said, hey, man, you coming over to YNC is real. And I think that's a reality check for a lot of teams, Clay, that you play in your own particular region and you get comfortable. When you finally get out of that region, you come step on that YNC. The only thing I can kind of compare it to, when you're a kid and you're trying to get, if you're in the airport, they have that little walkway that is already rolling for you. And if you're not used to jumping on it, you fall and bust your ass, right? Same thing, YNC. You go to that airport, the rest, everything sitting, moving, it's cool, you chill. You get on that YNC tarmac, boy, you better hold on. So, RDU kind of gave the West Coast that wake up. They went up and put 39 points on the people before they blinked. And so that's that YNC vibe, the competition. Let me tell you this. You can say anything you want to say about Clay. You can say what you want to say about me. You can talk about field goals. One year when it was COVID year, we had to go to IMG. Great. That was one year. It ain't happening this year. But anyway, you can say anything you want to say about us because we're accessible. We get here, we do a live show, we get on the internet, we engage with you guys because we want you to always be informed about the product. We're not going to sit up in a high office, be on the other side of the world. No, you want to ask us something, Clay and I are always reachable, and the team that's behind us is impeccable. Everybody that supports Clay on the side of the events and productions, it's an impeccable team. Our corporate side with our title sponsors and those people are amazing, absolutely amazing. What they give back to the kids, when they sit down and write the checks, we see them write for the uniforms. And that's no gimmick. It's not a speech when Clay and I tell you that every team gets uniforms from top to bottoms, from plates to this. It's so many times that people can tag in on this right now. There's so many times that people just call up, hey, man, could you send us mouthpieces? Can you send us gloves? People at Battle don't front. They do it off rip because it's a genuine care. So you can, I say this to say all that. You can say what you want about us personally. We joke around. But what you can't say is that YNC is not loaded every year at competition. You can't say if you're a coach and you're looking for smoke that YNC is not where you go. You can't say every time we don't put this platform on for the babies, we make sure they get their rings, their trophies, their uniforms. You can't say we don't do that. But you can say a lot of things about us, but you can't say we don't do that. And so whatever you hear out there on the internet and the yipping and yapping, we decided not to even engage on that. What we're going to do is just let the product speak for itself year in, year out. Not just this year, 10 years from now. So that's what I want to say, man. You look at that 7U, straight competition. You look at every age bracket, straight competition. That's the most thing we can hang our hat on, Clay.
And you're 100% right, Jonah. The 7U age division is going to be one that it's going to draw some large crowds. It's going to draw some hellacious games. It's going to get a lot of attention, man. And I feel like all the age divisions would do that, but this 7U, it's a lot of chatter about this 7U age division, So.
Hey, D hit you talking about answer your text messages, sir. D, you always a trouble starter, bro.
Always. All right, so let's go to 6U, man. 6U top 10. At number 10.
Hey, listen, hold on. But before you start that, hold on, Clay, hold on. So they saying you added Toy. It's only fair you add D. Let D get back on. She, you added her. Don't be no Texas homer. Can y'all please get D?
I don't have a problem with D getting on. Shit, D my people. D know what she need to do. Go on, text me, D, because you saying I ain't had a text from you in days, and you know why. But anyways, go on, text me, D. I'll send you the information right now to get on.
Oh, we have a record here with 2 women on tonight. Oh Lord.
Hey, all right, so listen, man. As we go into 6U, I'm gonna knock this out. Then hopefully by then, D will text me so I can get her on. So at number 10, 6U, we have Playmakers Elite. My man, Coach Juwan out of Virginia, and we had to get that right because he was charging us up for not giving Virginia they love. Number 9, Terrence City Tide, again out of Alabama. Second time we've heard that name tonight.
So what number are they at, Coach? Right now, Terrence City ties at the 9, huh?
Number 9 on 6U.
6.
Number
Uh
8,
huh.
we have Lauderdale Lakes. Again, Dog Pound, my man Noddy. I can't wait to
Yes,
see
sir.
this team up close because Noddy and I are boys. We follow each other on social media, and I just love to see the way he interact with these kids off the field. So I can't wait to
Yeah,
see what they do on the field. Sitting at number 7, RDU. Again, the name that you hear in almost every age group. Number 6, Grand Junior Pacers out of California. Number 5, Osceola Cowboys. Now, this is a team that a lot of people thought was going to go a different direction. They decided to come to the YNC. So I'm excited to see what type of movement they're going to make when they touch down.
yeah,
Number 4, Elite Golden Bears. They just won their state championship. A very, very dynamic team, a fast team. And what can you say, man? One thing I see about this team is those coaches and those kids, they have fun. They going to get some unsportsmanlike penalties because they talk plenty hot cash shit, but they have fun and they let the kids
right.
have fun. Number 3, 8 Mile Giants, an organization that has been a pivotal part of youth football in the state of Alabama, and I'm excited to see them have a team back at the YNC. Number 2, like I said before, Duval Jags. Duval
Yeah,
Jags, number 2 in the country at another age group, and then of course the number 1 team in the country, number 1 from wire to wire, ABN, formerly known as the Crew. I can't wait to see ABN and Duval lock up if they get to meet each other in a national championship. Because from all the noise they talk in the 6U group,
yeah.
from the parents, man, that thing should have 20,000 people at the game.
Absolutely. That should be crazy by itself. Hey, but can you imagine, man, in Big Trash Power Stadium, the 6U championship with them babies on that big stage, on that big field, hitting that 100-yard
Yeah,
run?
so it's
I
gonna be
mean,
crazy.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. That's going to be crazy in the stadium. Let them kids get their
I'm
shine
about to
on.
send. I'm sending D all her stuff right now, Jonah. I don't want no excuse from D. I'm sending all her stuff to her right now so she can get on here, do her thing. So D,
Hey,
I just
Clay, you know
sent
what?
you. I
You forgot an invite that
Go
they,
ahead.
somebody jumped on. They want to make sure you give them their pub, give them, let's talk about on 14U. You had an invite go out. I want to say if it was in the last 24 hours, Clay, 14 and under.
Memphis Elite. Memphis
Yes, sir.
Elite. So I like Memphis Elite. I like Memphis Elite a lot because they, as you would say, would you say hard hat at lunch pail? That's what I see
Right,
in Memphis Elite. They're not finna go out there and be very flashy. They're not getting out there and running, you know, 5 receivers, man. They lining up and they saying, where we're going with the ball. Whose nuts is bigger, mine or yours? So
right.
it's gonna be interesting to watch them come and bring their physicality to the 14U age level at the YNC. Because I mean, let's be real, Jonah. In past, what have we seen at the 14U level? Everybody out there with 5 wides. Everybody out there, trying to run the different versions of the pass happy offenses. It's going to be good. I
Exactly.
mean, I haven't seen a team as physical on the line of scrimmage um, as Memphis Elite since Jarvis had a 14U at the national championship.
Right, right. Well, we miss Jarvis with them strong teams, don't we, man? Jarvis, man, what happened to you, Jarvis? Man. So listen,
So come
Clay.
on, come on, D.
So as we getting D on, man, I'm getting geared up. I'm gonna be out of here in a little bit, heading up to Atlanta. Uh, Rank Up is giving the opportunities for some teams that just kind of missed out, or in an area where it's a gauntlet and it's hard to kind of decipher them. Let's talk about, like, for example, the 12 and under teams. Brandon Morton knocking off ABA in the semifinals, and then knocking off East Metro. But we know there's a lot of talent in that area. We always talk about it's not fair to some particular regions, because if they weren't playing in that region, they would be dominant in their own respective area. East Metro, you put them in a Florida, or you put them in DMV, or you put them in Texas, they can compete and be dominant in the area, but they just got to all beat up on each other. So Rank Up is going to have some very interesting 12 and under matchups this week. And, of course, a lot of people who've been wanting to see this team up close, they haven't been able to watch Duluth. Duluth, they've been saying, hey, Duluth at the 13 and under. They've been in the hidden middle school games or hidden areas over there up in North Georgia. They play in Rank Up this weekend. They'll be taking on a couple teams, man. So Duluth, I gotta say, I'm excited to see them in person. We'll talk about these defensive tackles. They'll be playing on Sunday at Wade Walker Park. 2 games, as a matter of fact. So they'll be bringing that out. 12 and under. We'll talk about the ABA Bulldogs taking on the Giants from Miami. So you're talking about the guys out of Richmond Giants. Stingrays taking on the Dolphins. At the 9 and under, man, shout out to the City Life boys making a trip from the DMV area. They'll be taking on Cincinnati Bearcats Elite. You got the Bay Area Packers 13 and under taking on ABA. So a lot of sexy matchups. We'll put that schedule out for everybody on Thanksgiving so y'all can come on out and watch some of these crazy games. Hateville trying to get into the mix of things and be taking on in that 7 and under action. You're talking about Orlando Jaguar 6 and under. Going to be taking on they're no longer the North Henry Tigers. They're the Clemson Tigers. So you'll have some great 6-up matchups. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know their name changed it. Oh.
Man, bro, I got fussed out. Team mom jumped on my head. And so 9 and under, Bessemer trying to get their name against the RDU 9 and under, 9 and under trying to get some action at rank up. So when I tell you it's going to be some action this weekend, like when we get those schedules out, pump them all out to everybody. Y'all come on out and enjoy some great football, man. Some great football.
Hey, Jonah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to just watch some of the live streams from Rank Up. You know, I know you was like, Clay, you need to come down, but you know it's holiday weekend right before.
Yeah, Clay said, man, you want me killed?
The fan wasn't gonna let me out.
I said, come hang with your boy, man. We in the A, we good. Let's go get, you got your cigars, you're gonna have your glass up all week. Let's go. Hey man, you trying to get me killed, man.
At all. Hey,
so, I just got yeah.
I got word that your girl D is on, so go on, let her get on here.
Let's go, D. Take off. Take off, D.
Wait.
Hey, Clay. Hold on, Clay. She done went and flipped the little blonde hair back. She got camera ready. Real quick.
Yeah. D, when D texted me and I said, all right, I'm finna see the stuff. I know she was rushing around the house trying to get ready.
Rushing.
This thing is so weird. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, D.
Okay. This thing is very weird. So may I add that? But Georgia has a team in every category, right?
Uh-oh.
But 14U. So you do know that, right? So bump out that Texas talk. Toy, you my friend, you my boo, but that's dead. It's dead. Georgia versus everybody. Plain and simple. Like we're winning. We're trying to win every age group. We want to win out in every age group, and I think it can be done.
Wow, that would be history. History.
So D, I got a question for you. I got a question for you, D, because you and I have been talking as you team momming for a couple teams. I'm just gonna put it like that. Team momming for a couple teams. Exactly.
Two.
So here's my question for you. As someone that has been to the YNC multiple times, as a mother, as a team mom, as a fan of youth sports, what do you see that makes the YNC totally different from any other national championship event you've been a part of?
Well, for one, just the atmosphere in itself. The level of play is on another level. You get to see teams coming from all over the country competing for this crystal ball, and the children enjoy it. They enjoy the atmosphere. The parents have a good time. It's just a beautiful feeling all over, and I've been there since 8U, 7U, 8U. So yeah, so it's just one of those feelings that you want your child to experience. I would say that it's a dope experience for everybody.
And let's be real, when we trying to certify them kids, y'all shooting music videos in the parking lot. Keep it 100. Keep it 100 for your boy.
We did.
Yeah. Y'all had them people from IMG stress the fuck out. Them people were stressed.
We didn't come.
Them people were stressed.
We didn't come last year.
So D, 13U. Who wins 13U this year, national champ? Go. Let's run down it real quick. Who wins 13U?
You know who she gonna say.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. You have some really, really good 13U teams, right? So my son is
Right.
with Ross Elite this year, formerly of the Dream Team. You know, he's not on there anymore. But
Right.
you have good teams at 13U. Nobody has really seen Duluth play, but they're a solid team. A lot of Dream Team kids are over there. So they're solid. You have Camo. That's a good team. You're gonna have to bring your A game to play them because those boys hit hard. Ross Elite is a good team, and you also have the number one team. I've seen Miami Garden Ravens play as well. We played them down in the SEAL event down in Savannah. They're solid. I'm not sleeping on no 13 under teams because everybody wants that last crystal ball before before they end their youth career. So
Yeah.
they're gonna be going at it. I don't put nothing past none of those teams. So I can't just say, oh, Ross Elite because my son is on there. No, it's some really good teams.
So you think so after we get this weekend y'all gonna come out and check Duluth out. I guess y'all coaches might get a good scout before we go to national. So Duluth will be playing 2 games on Sunday. They say they're bringing out the Ferrari. They say they're not hiding no plays. They want y'all to see any and everything. They bring it all.
I mean,
They say
they've been playing in the Cupcake League all season, so why would they
Oh,
not?
come on. Come on. Don't do that, D. Don't do that. Don't act
I
like
got
uh-oh.
to. I'm not acting up. I'm just saying.
So do we have a Georgia team? Do we have a Georgia team at the 12U who could win it all? D, you like Falcons United or?
Have you seen Falcons United? They did like a whole revenge tour. Like you got to get them guys props, straight up.
so
So do
right now
more
you
Mike
Like
feel
you,
like
Greenwood.
Falcons United the hot team on 12U.
right? You got to get them
All right.
props,
And you feel RDU
and
representing
they've been there
for Georgia
before.
at 11U? And you feel RDU representing for Georgia at 11U to get back that national, bring that crystal ball
Facts.
home to Georgia?
They
And
got to get their
10U.
lick back. So
So
wait, you did say OG Duck's not in it, right?
OG Ducks, what
Oh,
age group? Which one are you talking about?
11U.
Yeah,
11U.
11U.
Wow, would that make a difference?
No. We don't care. It's RDU all day.
Oh,
What's up?
I was about to chat.
Oh no, we don't care.
All right,
But
10U. Who bring
RDU,
it? Rare Breed. You think Rare Breed? You think Sean Moffitt might be the sleeper in the group?
what 10 and under?
Yeah.
Listen,
You like Rare Breed?
10 and under is hard.
Yeah.
10 and under is hard because you got RDU, they're very good. You got Sean and FU, even though they went up against, RDU 4 times. Like those games could have gone either way. So Rare Breeze is a dominant team. Like you can't take anything away from that team. Like they're the team to beat. And then I haven't seen SED because they took the video down. But
Dang. They disrespecting your Texas people, man.
listen, they said, why would you do that? I don't get it. But that's another
They took
story.
the video down.
Hey, D, y'all being petty. Let's be real for a minute. All that money y'all got in Atlanta, y'all could have flew somebody down here to record them games.
Listen, I would have screen recorded it for nothing. I would have just screen recorded it for nothing. If they would have said, hey, did anybody catch it? I would have screen recorded it for nothing.
All right, so at 9U, you going with Lambeau.
Got to.
8U, Georgia Eagles.
I like both teams. I like Georgia Eagles and I like Twin City.
So it's
James
either or.
Davis,
It's
that's my
coming back
dog.
so you say either or is coming back to Georgia.
Right. But that's,
So now,
yeah. Either one.
7U, RDU.
Facts. RDU.
6U, RDU again.
RDU, let me tell you something. I don't doubt our babies. They're new to this. They're trying to get this experience. And I know it's probably one of them Duval little Jaguars in the comments probably saying RDU ain't gonna do X, Y, and Z. But listen, they better prepare for us this time.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Man,
But
those are all.
we're trying to be in the mix at the end.
So that's awesome, reasonable teams, Clay. I could say that could really compete for a national championship. I don't think she's too far off on compete, but hey, in a couple of weeks we're gonna find out if Georgia gonna be dominant or if they just gonna be the Buffalo Bills and have a lot of teams in it. And and Toy asked you on the comments at the bottom. Read that right there, Toy. D, read that. What did I say at the bottom?
What you say? You want to fight about it? Toy. I'm trying to be on my
I tell
best
you what though,
behavior.
man. I'm
I'm trying
glad.
to be on
I'm
my best
glad Toy
behavior.
came on. I'm glad Toy came on. D. I'm glad you came on because sometimes it's good to hear a female's perspective of what you're doing. And let's be real, man. We've been
Right.
talking to these coaches, and we've been talking to these coaches and some of these dads all year long. You know, so it's good, man. Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, we all know, man, all these babies had a mama, and in most cases, the mama got a hand in why they playing youth football and getting here, man.
Yep.
We take our hats off to y'all. We appreciate all the overtime y'all do, all the working double jobs to make sure them babies can come down there and listen to me and Jonah yell and holler and cuss. Man, we appreciate y'all, man.
We appreciate y'all. We really do. We
Man.
definitely appreciate y'all. So thank you for having me on, though. I definitely appreciate it. But read my other messages I sent you.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, actually, did you get the message from Reggie? I sent him earlier today. I told him to send to you.
Yes, that's what I was answering you back.
Okay. I'm gonna call you as soon as we get off of here. I'll call you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, y'all sound. Hey, did you get my message? Did you get my grocery list? You got my
I
grocery list,
did.
right? Oh man! All right, Toya, thanks for joining in. D. So listen, man, thank y'all for joining us. We went over the top rankings. We'll post those on the internet. Commission's knocking out that artwork as we speak, so y'all can go ahead and celebrate. But it's not over yet. Like we tell any football team, until you get off that plane, any game you playing is a liability. Not a liability. It's football. You know, you can either go up or you can go down. This weekend, it's definitely teams that's putting it all on the line, trying to finalize the YNC tickets that all happen this weekend. And Clay, after this weekend, my man, let everybody know what time it is.
So I'm gonna tell you this here, man. If you have an invitation, currently have an invitation in your possession, and your bracket isn't already full, and you haven't had met all your obligations, hey, come Black Friday, the water's cut off. So don't hit me talking about, man, we done booked flights, we got charter buses, we got houses. A lot of you guys been holding these invites since November and hadn't said a word about what you're gonna do. You know, I had a lady call me today telling me, oh yeah, Clayton, we coming. Y'all had y'all invites since November 4th, and ain't nobody heard from y'all till today. Man, we done
Where you
passed
coming
up
to?
that name, and we done went 3 or 4 names deep further than that. In addition to that, rank up. All these teams that are competing in rank up, the winners have an opportunity to get into the YNC. But here's the thing: when you win rank up, after you talk to Jonah and Panther, before you
With
leave the stadium, you need to get on the phone with me because your time clock is extremely short. You miss that
yep.
window, and it's over. And like they say, Black Friday, Black Friday for everybody else. For rank up, your date is nigga Tuesday. Come
Man.
Tuesday, I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down. I'm getting everything ready to go. So,
Oh, the lights are off,
I
man. The
got to do what
lights
I need to
off.
do. I got to do what I need to do on this side, and then I got to
Yes, sir.
get to Florida and tie up all the loose ends to make sure we have a fabulous product for your kids when they arrive.
Clay, this is throwback action here, man. This is
Yeah, yeah. What's that?
year
3 years
two.
ago?
Yeah,
Three
this
years
was
ago?
year two. This was the second edition. It can't compare to
Man.
the three finger right now, but that thing blinging, huh? That thing blinging.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
Man, I can't wait for these babies to get their rings on this week. This coming up in a couple weeks. So, Clay, what's the most important thing that people should know if YNC, if they're going to watch this video and they're taking like 6 seconds or 10 seconds? Let's say if they've already accepted their invitation to the YNC and they're coming in to South Florida. What do you want to tell them about all the procedures they need to do from check in all the way to field day?
So here's the first thing, guys. Let's start here. After this weekend, we will be having a Zoom call on either Monday or Tuesday night with every team that is in the YNC. You need to have either your head coach, your president, your team manager, your administrator, your team mom, whoever handles the administrative side of your team, they must be on this Zoom call. Reason being is because I'm finna go over everything administratively. We're gonna go over all paperwork with a fine-tooth comb of what needs to be in your player or in your team folder when you arrive at certification. So we'll know exactly what you need. Again, I don't want any parents spending money bringing these kids down and then the appropriate documentation is not there, because I'm going to tell you the kid cannot play. Those that have been there before, you've seen it happen. And I'm talking about everything from coaches to daddies to mama to little kids crying. I'm going to do everything I can to protect the integrity of the event, but most importantly, the safety of all of these kids that are involved. Secondly,
Right.
from that, a couple things that you need to know, guys. You need to know that all the paperwork that's uploaded in Zorts, that stuff also needs to be in your hand as hard copies, because the certification process is this. There's an online certification in Zorts. Then at certification, there is a physical certification. And before every single game, the kids will be checked for bands and their face from the Zorts app to make sure nobody has tried to slip any kid in or anything like that. So there's 3 parts to our certification process. Like I said, is our system perfect? No, but we try very hard to really make it hard for anybody to try to cheat us. Now, in addition to that, a few housekeeping rules we need to talk about. Guys, where we're playing at on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Village Park, it's a beautiful facility. 4 fabulous fields, plenty of parking. But the thing you have to realize is that it's also in a complex that has over 10 soccer fields. We have designated warm-up fields right next to the football fields. Guys, please do not get over there and start warming up on random soccer fields. Please do not get over there and start having practices on these random soccer fields and baseball fields. You will be asked to leave those fields. So let's just go ahead and get that out the way right now. If you want to warm up or if you want to practice, we have designated fields right there by the football fields that you can do that on. Now, if you want to set something up at another park, another stadium for your warm up or for your practices in between games, guys, you have all the power in the world to go ahead and do that. Also, man, we want to make sure we have a safe environment for these kids, man. So please, guys, what shouldn't be at a youth event. I don't need to say it. Please don't bring it. And you won't be able to bring it in trash pile because we're going to have those metal detectors on Lizak. So with that being said, guys, man, let's come to Florida. Let's have a great event. I'm excited to see everybody. I'm excited to see the kids play. I'm excited to hear the shit talking and saying. I'm excited for us to celebrate youth football like it should be celebrated. And most importantly, my favorite part, I'm just to be on the sidelines, watch these kids play, talk with these kids, watch them be great, and then give them everything I can at the end to the winner because they deserve it.
Right. And listen, we know a lot of our brothers and sisters have medical conditions. Please leave your medicine at home or wait till you get in the car. Do not smoke your medicine in Wellington. Listen, let me say it again. Do not smoke your medicine in Wellington. The police are different there. They are different. Say this again. Public service announcement for all my brothers and sisters who all have medical issues. Do not engage in your medicinal use at Wellington. You will not make it to the championship game. You will be bonding out, trying to get back to whatever state you came from. I can't say it enough for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, because Wellington, the air is so clean, Clay. Anything that don't smell like cotton,
I will say this, man. I will say this, man. I the type of person I am, man. I start really digging in about 2 weeks out, and I normally do a weather check. And right now, the weather check on the app on the website that I use, man, looks like we blessed. So, hey, man, everybody, let's stay with that, because at the end of the day, it's always more fun when you're in the sun. You know how it is. That's why we have the national championships in Florida.
Yeah, 100%, man. So y'all just keep that advice. Let's police it right. Don't just go in any fields. Because listen, One thing I can tell you, like our title sponsor, they want to just make sure we go out of the way, find the great facilities to hold these at. But the facilities are only as good as we treat it. And what do you mean by how do we treat it? It's about our audience. You know what I'm saying? So let's just make sure that we can support it for the kids. Let's not trash the place. Let's not go and smoke it all out. Because at the end of the day, it's not about us. This is not for the adults. Believe it or not, this is not for the adults. This event is actually for kids 6 through 14 years old. I'm going to say it again. Because some of these moms and dads, oh man, I'm going to Miami. Boy, our team and this and this and this and that. And it's more about them. And I get it, man. Enjoy your kids' victory. But we're giving the experience to the kids. But don't rob it, man. Y'all could go out at night, drop them kids to the hotel room. Clay and I will give you every stop place you can go to from Wellington all the way down to the city. We'll line it up for you. So whatever you need, Miami has is a city that does not sleep. So y'all on and popping when y'all come down here Monday through that Saturday. This is a city that doesn't sleep. Anything you want, you can get it in Miami. But most importantly, while we're actually watching those games, let's treat those facilities with the respect of our babies, just really trying to win them a national championship. You feel me? So, Clay, that's what I got to say basically on that end. I'm getting ready for Rank Up, man. Yes, I get it. I see a lot of questions in here. You are the winner of Rank Up. Yes, you get the invite. You got to handle your business, man. 6 through 14 is going down this weekend. So I know Panther is the guy running that on that director side. So Panther Alphonse, y'all give him a shout out. Just make sure y'all get y'all schedules, y'all last minute check-ins, whatever y'all need to do. Win it on the football field. There's nothing given here. It won't be opinionated. You got to win out there through that bracket through, I want to say through Friday through Sunday. You come out a champ, man. Like Clay said, your window is this big. Once you win, celebrate that night. Do your thing. When you wake up in the morning, hey, Clay, man, I'm coming for mine. We're going to YNC. That's how it has to be. Anything outside of that, it's just going to be a great weekend of football. Y'all enjoy it in Atlanta. To stop there. So make sure you follow all the way through. But besides that, man, it's national championship time. It's been a great 21 season where, you know, I see a lot of teams stay injury-free, incident-free. The teams that's locked and loaded in YNC now, I'm excited from top to bottom. There's not an age group that I don't think is super competitive that we just going to enjoy watching football. And legends will be made this postseason. There's going to be some phenomenal games, some things that we'll be talking about for years to come. And the best thing about it, we'll have Under the Radar. Generation X will be going live stream with all our different cameras. Best thing about it, we'll be able to capture all these memories and talk about them because of the facilities that we are now. As Clay said, each field has its own press box. Each field has its own stadium. Each field has its own clock. So in each one of these fields, there'll be cameras capturing it, live streaming it. It's going to be a movie, literally a movie. AG, of course, will be the director of all the photogs down there. He does an excellent job with it. AG will be hitting that replay, that slow motion. All that's going to be a part of the package, guys. Besides just playing football, you know you're going to be in some of the most sophisticated facilities. And what I mean by that, what other youth football game are you going to trust in the national championships where every play could be under review and make sure we get the calls right? So, hey, we're making sure we get it right on our end. We're glad y'all support us. We're glad you are there. And it's only going to get bigger and better. Next year, this is going to be a different conversation we have in this time next year, Clay. We can guarantee you that.
Facts. So, hey, man.
So,
I'm
ahead,
excited. I'm excited, man. You know, this thing gonna be rocking. You know, Jonah and Panther gonna get through Rank Up this weekend, and then all eyes set on the Mecca. Who's playing at Trash Pile? Who's gonna get that final walk down the aisle onto the legendary field, man? Let's go. Let's get it.
Hey, man. Well, happy holidays, everybody. Enjoy your Turkey Day tomorrow. Enjoy your family. Take your one day off. We'll try to get one day off of football. When we wake up on Friday morning, it's going to be kickoff at Wade Walker Park. Rank Up is going down Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Everybody who wanted to see Duluth, you finally get to see it. Everybody who wanted to see those championships, punch their ticket in person, where you don't have to catch the next week to see it, come on out. Let me give a shout out. We'll have barbecue, fry head. Oh, man, some of the top vendors that's out there to drop some of that dope food out there. Shout out to DT. Shout out to Val. Really making it happen at Wade Walker. Really some of that Atlanta support. And we can't wait to see your Atlanta teams out there. We know we don't want to step on toes. We know y'all got some other games going on that weekend. But we got to lock and load for YNC, so we'll see you out there. So on behalf of Clayton Guillory, my man AG in the back, we'll see you next week, same time, same place. We'll be getting ready for YNC. Y'all hold it down. You know, there is only one. See you right here, same place, same time next week.